As far as the season goes, I think I tell them this every morning. They're probably tired of hearing it. I think we're just excited to be back doing something. I mean, I think every coach has probably said the same thing this morning, but those 9 or 10 weeks we were apart from them was probably not fun for any high school football coach. It definitely wasn't fun for me or any of our staff. So just to get back with them this summer and begin, preparations for the year was exciting, and then hopefully, and then this week, obviously, kind of, going more, even though we're still not in full pads, obviously, yet getting back into going a 5-day week for the first time this week was exciting to kind of be around them, and we're, progressing each day, but we're just, at this point right now, we're just looking forward to the opportunity. We know there's a lot out there that's going on, and there's a lot of uncertainty still, but we just kind of keep taking it one day at a time and hope that on August 21st we're still playing, and we'll make the most of every chance we get, because, as we've all learned in the last 3 months, we just don't know what's going to happen. So we're looking forward to whatever opportunities we get this fall and try to make the most of them.
Questions?
For the players, how did you guys handle, Coach mentioned those 8 to 9 weeks kind of away from staff, being together as a whole. How did you guys handle that situation? And did you reach out to your teammates, try to hold each other accountable as best you can? What all did you guys do?
Well, I mean, we tried to stay in the weight room like whenever we could at our buddies' houses or whatever, and we just stayed active, didn't blink an eye about it.
We're a pretty close group, so we challenged each other with the stuff we did. We sent each other what we did, trying to beat each other. So we pushed pretty hard, even though we were out. We're a pretty close group, so we stayed together the whole time.
For the players, this being such an uncertain time, and you never know what will be your last game when you do get to play. What achievement do you want to do this season, as long as you're able to play? Maybe hopefully you get to play the whole season, but what achievement do you want to do as an individual this year?
Big one for me is winning the region 3 years in a row. Ever since I've been on varsity, we've won, so that's a big one for me.
We've had some good years. We did pretty good records, but we've yet to hit 10-0, and that's something I would like to achieve with my team.
Coach Elmore, you stepped in here at Fort Payne. Your dad was an outstanding coach. He was around times, when I was involved in football and all. And then you follow Coach Ellis. The one good thing that you stepped in at Fort Payne, these kids know how to win. It's probably made your job a little easier, other than tweaking, your stamp on the football team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's probably what appealed to me most about the job was, obviously I played here and played for my dad, and Anderson. We had some successful teams, and then Coach Ellis, kind of after Coach Pruitt was there for 2 or 3 years, kind of basically took that and extended that. They tell you in the coaching business, don't follow somebody who's been real successful. So not only did I follow Coach, I basically followed 2 guys that have been very successful. So that was probably dumb on my part, but I've been very excited to be back. And you're right, these, they're used to winning. They expect to win. We've won 2 games in the last 2 years. These guys, maybe even 3 games. And these guys can tell you that we probably had no business winning. We won on a Hail Mary over Bay Jemison 2 years ago. The game was over. There's no way we should have won that game. And the kids found a way to make a play with less than a second left. And then last year we almost kind of gave the Buckhorn game away, but then found a way to win in overtime. And Hunter scored a 2-point conversion to win the game in overtime. So that's not necessarily coaching or style or anything. That's just kids expecting to win and finding a way to win late in the game. And that really has nothing to do with me or any of our staff. It's just really got to do with them. And I think they've grown up watching teams win. When you watch teams at Fort Payne win, they kind of expect to win and have found a way to do that in some close games for us.
Yeah, and I think continuing on to that is, most people will say Fort Payne, when they get off the bus, they're not going to, the eye candy part of it, they're not going to pass that test, but they're going to outwork their opponent, and that's where games are won and lost.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably been the case for a long time. I mean, I can guarantee when I got off the bus in 1992, I didn't intimidate anybody. So it's been that way probably for a while. We're not gonna wow you much necessarily, but we've got kids that are coachable, and we've got kids that will work hard. And these 2 are prime examples that they've come a long way. JD in particular, it really is a privilege lot since last year. And really, it's interesting that normally what we've had in the time off would maybe hurt a quarterback because he missed spring training, he missed some 7-on-7s. It's kind of gone the opposite way. He's improved so much since last year. And again, I can't take any credit for that. That's him, kind of growing up as a young man and working on his own and improving his skills. And we've got a lot of players just like him that have done the same thing. So that's a credit to them and kind of the way they're raised and what their parents expect out of them.
Coach, 6 wins 2 years ago, 9 last year, including a big playoff win there in the first round. Your player mentioned that he wants to be undefeated sometime, before he graduates. He's going to do that this year. I know that's sort of a goal that every young football player wants to have, is to always go undefeated. But in your mind, in order to take that jump from 9 to maybe a double-digit win season, what does Fort Payne have to do?
Well, we got to stay healthy. Everybody else said the same thing, but we really have to stay healthy. I mean, Hunter in particular, we'll need to keep him healthy all year. He's a big part of what we do. And the same with JD. I mean, we've got other quarterbacks that I think can step in and do a good job, but we will lose quite a bit off our team if either one of these two guys were to get injured. So staying healthy would be number one. And I was telling them on the way up, and I told the team this morning, I think a lot of people around Fort Payne thought I'd lost my mind when we made the schedule because we scheduled Athens and Kansas City to open the season. And so I'm not doing a great job of scheduling right now as far as trying to get 10-win seasons probably. But I've told them before, the reason why, first of all, you start to learn in this part of the state, in this northeast corner, it's not as easy to get football games as you would like because you're so far away from everybody. So it was a little bit difficult to find people to play, and Athens and Kansas City wanted to play. And like I told them, the good thing about playing both those teams, and maybe it will hurt us as far as a chance to go 10-0, I don't know, but we'll find out real early in the season just how good we are and what we need to work on to get a lot better. And that's why we're excited about playing both those teams early. Is those programs will challenge us, and hopefully we can come out on top, and hopefully we can win. But even if we don't, we know that they will make us better, so when we get into region play, we'll be ready to go, and that's kind of why we put those two teams on the schedule is to see where we are and see how we got to improve.
Coach, it's a new look region heading into the 2020 season, one that's like really loaded with talent if you look at it on paper, and I'm sure you guys know, seeing these teams and being familiar with them, are these guys that are you as a head coach excited for that opportunity to be able to compete with these teams?
Yeah, I think, when the regions came out and you look at some teams that we're familiar with over the years here, whether they're the Arab, Scottsboro, Southside, those are teams that have always kind of been synonymous with Fort Payne and in their region. And we've been apart for a few years. And then we've played Pell City and Oxford quite a few times too. I think anytime you see your region and the defending state champion is in it, it obviously catches your eye. And I think it caught all their eyes. And I don't think necessarily in a bad way. They understand that Oxford is a very, very good football team and very talented, and they've got a lot of players back. And it will take a great effort by anyone to beat them this year. But I think they're excited for that kind of opportunity. I think playing Benson last year in the second round at home, and even though we lost, and the game really wasn't ever real close, we had some opportunities early to make it a lot closer than it was. I think at the same time, they saw, hey, that's the best in the state, and we're not that far off from it. If we can clean up some things here, if we can improve this, if we can do this better, then we've got a chance to compete. So I think when they saw the region and saw Oxford was in it, I think it excited a lot of them. And again, I don't say that to say that we think we're going to go down there, or when Oxford comes to us, that we're just going to dominate them or anything. But I think it's just the excitement of playing the best. I think if you're really a competitor, and if you really say you want to compete, you want to play the best there is. And I think when they got a chance to play Benson this year, they all saw that, and they're looking forward to that opportunity when it comes.
John David, I know your family real well. In the past, you've been starting quarterback, was last year. Do you feel like before Coach maybe wanted you to don't lose the game for us, don't make a mistake? Now he's going to be asking you to take on a bigger leadership role and possibly win big games for your team. Do you feel that way now?
I mean, yeah, it's a lot different not having Matthew or anybody to be there just in case you do screw up or something. But I'm not really worried about it. I mean, going out there and playing like I know how to play, and he's coached us up real well, so I'm not too worried.
To follow up on that, I mean, JD was in a different situation last year. We had Matthew Shaddix that was kind of a do-everything type of guy for us. Could play receiver, could play running back, could play quarterback, and so we used him in a lot of different ways. And, I didn't do it necessarily to have somebody kind of looking over his shoulder. I think it probably happened that way a little bit. I mean, I think in some ways probably there were a couple games where JD might have maybe forced a little bit because he wanted to be able to do well enough to basically the quarterback the whole game. But like I said earlier, his improvement from last November to now is remarkable to me. He's throwing the ball so much harder, so much farther. He's making better decisions. And he knows, and we've talked about it a bunch of times, that even though you want to make every play at quarterback, really your number one goal is to not turn the ball over. If most quarterbacks that don't turn the ball over, don't throw interceptions, or don't have fumbles, they end up winning a lot of games usually. And he's starting to understand that better. And he also has got a really good running back here behind him that he understands we're going to lean on a lot. And I think the two of them work really well together. Hunter makes his job easier, and JD also helps Hunter make his job easier too.
Coach, how many returners on the offensive and defensive line do you have?
That's an area we're blessed in right now. We're excited about. We've got 4 returning starters on the offensive line, and the other 2 guys that are kind of vying for that 5th spot actually played significantly last year. One of them was a junior, one is going to be a 10th grader. Both those guys actually started one game because of some injuries. So we've got 6 guys back that have significant varsity experience. So we're excited about that group, and then our defensive line. Basically, we had 5 guys that played 4 spots last year, and all 5 of those guys are back. So that's an area that on both sides of the ball that we should be improved in, because it's the same players, and all of them have gotten bigger and stronger over the course of the offseason. Even though we missed half the offseason, a lot of those guys, just the natural development of a young man, have gotten taller and bigger and stronger than they were last year. So we've got some areas on the back end of defense where we've got some inexperience, and we've got some inexperience at receiver. But to have your offensive line basically back, your defensive line back, and to have your quarterback and running back returning, you feel better about that. We just got to have some guys step up in those other areas quickly. And I think, I feel like they will. They're just all, new, so to speak, right now. They just need some game experience.
For the players, it's got to be a great honor to be here. Coach chose you to be here to represent your football team. What does that mean to you? I mean, naturally, you're leaders on the field. You have to be. But what does that mean to you personally to represent your team?
It means a lot for them to pick us, for us to come. But the truth is, we're all a team together. Any of us could come. For them to pick us is a nice thing. But if any of our teammates come, we wouldn't be jealous of whoever came. We're all proud for each other.
Yeah, I agree with Hunter. It's not a favoritism or anything. It's just he having to choose us, which it wouldn't have been any different if he chose anyone else on the team. So.
Somebody asked me this question the other day, and I'll say that this is a unique team in that most times your individual classes are close, like the senior class is close and the junior class is close. This group, and Hunter said it today in the interview I was listening to him, our junior and senior class are really close. So those 2 classes, they really mix well together, and so and they've done a good job of taking in our sophomores as well. But it's not a group that's and I've never really had a team, I guess, that's been cliquish, so to speak. But these 2 guys, you really can't tell. If you came into our locker room or on the practice field, you wouldn't be able to tell really who was the junior and who was the senior, because they kind of treat each other the same, which I think is a positive because they all work well together.
Got time for one more question?
Well, Coach, on the scheduling, y'all much like that ahead. Y'all got put in that east-west type of thing, which made you have to go to Huntsville. Well, now you back over here playing the teams that are a lot more regionally familiar to you. So, the kids will know the teams that they play. Is that better for the football team?
I think it is. I think it'll help. Hopefully, and again, this is obviously an uncertain year. We don't know what to expect as far as crowds on Friday night right now, but I hope that it will help with our crowds too, because you've got more traditional games, so to speak. Fort Payne and A-Rab have played a bunch of times. So have Fort Payne and Southside. And obviously, Fort Payne and Scottsboro Player of the Year. So we think that'll make for those region games to be a little bit more exciting and better atmospheres. Again, right now this year, you just don't know. We'll hope, we'll see how it goes, and we hope as many people that feel safe enough to come will come. But we obviously understand that this is a different year and a year that none of us have ever seen. So.